Hi everyone, this is Penguin Trades, and this is a review for the ES and NQ futures for September 10th. First we're going to go over the ES, and then after we'll flip over to the NQ and we'll go over that too. So I started trading at 8 Central Time, which is this area right here, just as we were pushing on up here. So this area right here, this is right at 8, and as you can see, this is our overnight high. That's where I have it marked. And so this is not a huge swing. Like oftentimes the overnight levels will have very clear swings. Like for instance down here, price has a very clear swing. Price pushed down, pushed up. But here, price, it didn't full on reverse from that swing. It kind of just chopped around this area for a while. Sometimes that will happen. You just want to adjust it around and see how price reacts to it. Ended up fitting pretty well right here, so I left it there. The overnight high and low levels, they're not necessarily about the absolute high and low of the overnight session. You just have to see where it fits best. Now, in this case here, it's right around 8 right here, or like 750, and then it turns into 830 without much happening. So as you can see, this is right at 8, and then right here, 30 minutes goes by, not much happens. But price does end up reacting to this level pretty well. You can see that here. Price pushes back lower, fading in, and then immediately retests it, and as it breaks back out, it has a sharp fade back in. So I decided to just leave it in that area here. Now, when we have this uptrend, notice that we have a break on that fade back in, so price is pushing back into the overnight high, and it's getting a break for this uptrend. So when an uptrend gets a break, you can expect price to attempt a new high. Now here, notice you get these 2 attempts at a new high. It doesn't make a new high, it doesn't even reach the previous high, but it was held down by the overnight high level. It's pushing back in. Now, there's very clear resistance right here, or I should say support right here, and so you don't want to enter into that. You want to get out before that or right on it. And we just aren't able to do that. You need a very heavy limit order. Price doesn't come back to get you. So as you can see, this is a no fill right here. So anyway, it pushes on lower. Now at this point here, this is a clear 2-legged break. We can still make a new high for this uptrend. At first we had these 2 attempts at a new high right there, which led to this failure. But this failure on a bigger picture is really just a 2-legged break from this uptrend. So we still have an uptrend with a break. We can still expect price to attempt a new high. So, which means we can technically look to get long to make a new high. It's just that we don't have much room to the overnight high right here. You don't want to enter directly into a key level like that. Now, when price starts pushing above here, no clear entries on the way up. Obviously, like I just said, there's not much room. But we do get a significant push up, which is our attempt at a new high. So, uptrend, 2-legged break, and then we get this strong attempt at a new high, which was enough to cause it to plummet after breaking the overnight high. So we broke out of the overnight high again. Price quickly faded back down, basically made a triple top at the overnight high before pushing lower, and no way to get in on this short right here. Nothing safe. This down measured move was just met, which led to a strong push up, which means this uptrend could win out over the overnight high. So the overnight high, the bears want to fade. So this is a competition area between the uptrend and the overnight high. With the overnight high, the bears want it to fade. They want price to reach the other side. They want the range rules to play out. And that's very typical. When you come off one side, you can expect price to reach the other side. But you have the uptrend in play at the same time. And when you get a break, the bulls want to make a new high because that's how trends play out. And so, you only have one attempt at a new high, which means that you're not good to go short. It's not confluent with the uptrend yet. And then, obviously, with that good of a bullish reaction, you still don't want to go short immediately. So unfortunately, just nothing to take in this area. We continue on lower. We have this sharp push down, break. We make a second leg down, so we have this 2-legged move down. Price pushes on through that measured move right there, but it quickly comes back and retests it on the low side. Now, when this happens, you can look to continue short. Like in this case here, we have this down measured move. I'm gonna just quickly move that just to unclutter a bit. So we have this down measured move, price pushes through it. If you get a clear 2-legged retest, you can continue short on the retest of the measured move. But in this case here, it's just not very clean. We're pushing above the EMA on both of these legs up. There's not a clear separation between the legs. It's not like a clear 2-legged move. It's not a good second entry. It's just a sharp push above the EMA, push back below, and then another push above the EMA. So I would want to see a clear 2-legged move. This really just looks like one leg with a small break and attempt to a new high, getting sideways. So I didn't like this for a short. I was afraid that price could just tick lower than this red bar and immediately start pushing back up to make a new high for this initial uptrend break. you see. So it's just not ideal. So I didn't like it there. We push on lower here. You know, it looks like it makes 1-to-1, but again, it doesn't mean it's going to work next time. And so as soon as it pushes down a little bit, we start pushing back up. Now this is a more clear two-legged move. We have this first leg up, break, second leg up, retesting that level, but it is getting pretty bullish, closing above that level, not getting a good bar, closing below. Also, we have the EMA that it's closing above. So, you know, if we had just pushed lower here, we would have had more room to get a more clean two-legged move, retesting it with a clear push below, like a good reaction. You know, this is a good looking signal bar. If this had happened up here and started pushing lower, then we could have been much more likely to get a good short here. So anyway, we push on up. Now we have this downtrend. Even though there's two legs in there, on a bigger picture it's just one leg down, and we're getting this break. So downtrend, I'm going to put this leg back here, and I'm going to delete these old lines just because it's, you know, it's very easy to get over cluttered. So we have this downtrend, break, first attempt lower, and we start the second attempt lower here. So on that second attempt, the measured move is met, and price starts reversing on higher. Doesn't go very far. Obviously, you don't want to enter it below the EMA like that. It's not off of any support. Even though it's at the measured move, that's not enough to just take it, to take a long, you know, especially if it's still right into the EMA. So I don't like that there, but the downtrend does have two attempts at a new low, but the failure doesn't work out. It goes past the measured move. That kind of starts this wider channel, or excuse me, not channel, this wider range here. So we push up. That's when this double bottom is pretty clear. We're forming some kind of resistance right here. Now, when we start pushing up, price starts finding resistance at that previous high right there. So we're in this up channel. Again, let me just go over the context because it can look kind of cluttered here. So the downtrend has a break, two attempts at a new low, and now price didn't make a new low, and we're getting a failure. So price is failing and moving higher. If we push up and get a failed second entry above the EMA, we can absolutely look to go long here. Price is already bouncing within the overnight range. That's the first sign of a bullish imbalance. So if you get a failed second entry holding above, you can look to go long so long as you have room to the highs here. Now, in this case here, we don't get that. We just get this, you know, to the tick. It's a failed second entry, first entry short, second entry short, failure. Obviously way too choppy. So we continue higher. We reach this high, and price immediately has a bearish reaction to it. It really struggles to push above here, but eventually we do push out, and price starts fading back down right at this measured move. So good reaction to the measured move, fading the dotted range, pushing back below here. This bar right here, once we get below the EMA, is when I like this trade. So you have to look at it from the bigger picture here. Starting from here with this leg, we have a downtrend and then two-legged break. So this is a big picture failed second entry. So starting from the top, we have first entry long, second entry long, and then this is where we look for the failure. And so we're getting a good bearish reaction, which means we can look to get in on the failure. So we continue on lower here. We start the second major leg down. So notice that it's just the first leg down, two-legged break between, then you get the second leg down. Price pushes through the measured move, it pushes through the overnight low, and when you break out of the overnight low, you can expect price to attempt to fade. And if you want to continue going short, then you need two clear attempts to fade in order to get in on the fade failure. Now, since this measured move was met, obviously you'd need it to hold below this measured move as well. Luckily, it's right in that area, in the same area as the measured move, so that shouldn't be, you know, too big of a problem if it retests the measured move, if it retests the overnight low. But in this case here, we get these two legs up, not retesting off of any clear resistance, so no short here. It's just in the middle of nowhere. Even though you have the measured move met, it's not off of any other support. You know, it's missing this measured move by a few points, and also, of course, the overnight low. So we just don't get anything here. What I would like to see is price actually reach it and then push below the EMA, so we can look to get in on a short. But in this case here, price just continues on higher. So we go into this uptrend. Now, as you can see, I have this written out. This was from a website post, but we push on up. If we could have gotten a two-legged retest like that, so two legs retesting the overnight low, we would still expect price to attempt a new high for the uptrend break. So uptrend, two-legged break, expecting a new high, forming a big picture failed second entry using the overnight low as support. You know, in this case here, it just doesn't form. It's already overshooting and now pushing back lower. Overshoots lead to breaks. So overshoot easily could lead to a break. There was already a tiny overshoot right there, but price recovered, or the channel recovered, I mean, and now we're overshooting again. So we'll see what happens. Overshoots tend to lead to breaks. We could get a big two-legged move down. We could literally just get something a little bit bigger picture, such as this, perhaps. So, we'll see what happens. I'm going to hop over to the NQ now, and yeah, so, we could make a failed second entry. Even if we don't get a long entry, like at this point here, price could push up into a smaller failed second entry stemming from right here, and we'll just use the big picture measured move, to our advantage. We'll just use the momentum of this fade back up here. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to hop over to the NQ now. So here's the NQ. Again, overnight high right here, overnight low down here. I started trading at 8 Central Time, this area here. And so we have this sharp push up. Now, at first, you can see here that this is a little uptrend. So sharp uptrend, break, push up to a new high, and then a reversal. So at this point here, the uptrend has a break and a new high, and so it's considered played out, and that's why we get such a sharp reversal back into the overnight high. Now, as you can see on a bigger picture, this is clearly just one leg. You can just tell by glancing at it. This is obviously one sharp move up. Now, if price had continued reversing here and just continued on lower, then that could be it for this uptrend. It played out with a break to a new high. If it reverses on down, then that's just the end of the trend. However, this reversal failed. So we start the reversal here, and then we start that second attempt. Generally, market attempts things in pairs of twos. That's how second entries form. And so we have this first attempt to reverse, and then we start that second attempt to reverse, and it can't even get past that previous low before shooting back above the overnight high. So clearly the bulls are coming into the market at this point. So this is a reversal failure. This failure is basically what turns this reversal into a bigger picture break. So now this reversal from this uptrend playing out, you have to look at it on a bigger picture. It's no longer just the reversal. This whole thing is one trend, including the break to a new high. And since it's unable to reverse from here, we have to look for the bigger picture attempts at a new high for this overall uptrend right here. So we have uptrend, break, and then it goes sideways for a bit. Really, the first attempt starts from right here. So uptrend, break, first leg at a new high, and then second leg at a new high. So I hope that's clear. Seeing price action, just combining structures, combining trends, and seeing bigger picture structures and getting bigger trades. You just have to be able to see that in real time. See that there's a separation in this trend right here, see that that's a reversal, but then also being able to see that on a bigger picture, it's just a break between bigger legs at a new high. So that's kind of just what you need to learn. But anyway, I kind of lost exactly where I was here. So after the break, we start pushing higher here. This downtrend also has a break. So when a downtrend gets a break, you can expect prices to attempt a new low, which means you can look to get short at this point here. Because again, even though I got into the bigger picture stuff, at this point, it's still just an uptrend that's played out. So if price holds below the EMA, you can get a reversal pattern and take a short here. Obviously, everything's holding above the EMA. It doesn't give you a clear failed second entry. But we continue on higher here. We don't get that reversal. We push back above. Now, if price pushes up and we get two legs back, kind of like how we have right here, but if it actually holds above the overnight high, then we absolutely want to look to get long because this uptrend is clearly attempting a new high. The fade is failing. So if you get two attempts to fade, so break out, get two more attempts to fade, that's actually holding above, you absolutely want to continue with that momentum, get a long. But as you can see, when it pushes lower here, it's actually fading back in, so it's not off of any clear support at this point. You're just entering into resistance, so nothing to take there. So we push on up. It does not make a new high, but we do still have our two clear attempts, so price does still react with a swift push down. It looks like a failure, and so we have this push down, brand new downtrend coming off the highs. We can expect price to attempt to reach the other side, and then we get this two-legged break. So downtrend, two legs back, price pushes through that measured move, and then starts pushing back below here. Now, notice that we have this trend line working up here. It's not like it's really clear or anything. It's just off of these lows right there, which just now formed after this reversal. But we push on through here, and then we swiftly push back down. So it broke out of the overnight high again, very quickly faded on down, and so we're getting a pretty bearish reaction right here. So swiftly push back down here. The reason I didn't like entering right after this bar was because even though we have good context, price did just, have a quick bullish spike, so I wanted price to get more below the EMA, and then it didn't make a good signal bar instantly. What ended up happening was from this failed second entry, so first entry long, second entry long, and then failure right here, from this failed second entry pattern, price faded back in right here to the overnight high and actually made a smaller failed second entry. So starting from this top here, we have first entry long, second entry long, and then failure. I didn't want to enter on this smaller one because it did get back above the EMA, but then when we got this extremely bearish reaction, then I wanted to continue with this, bigger picture ones, because as you can see here, even though from here you have, first entry long, second entry long, failure, since this is a two-legged break and it really looks like one on another, one leg on a bigger picture, this extra attempt is giving us more momentum, because from this downtrend, if you view this as the break right here, so downtrend and then break, and then this is your first attempt lower, because again, this is a two-legged break. It's not like first attempt lower here and then second attempt lower up here. It's downtrend, two-legged break, first attempt lower, and then this is the second attempt lower with a very clear bearish reaction with this bigger measured move in play. I didn't really care about this trend line right here because, again, the context was perfect. Oftentimes you'll get STT, but if the context is really good, as I always say, you can enter into it as long as you have perfect context. And we're getting a very clear fade back in here to the overnight high. Just had a very bearish reaction. The downtrend has a two-legged break. First attempt lower, entry is on the second attempt lower with room to this low right here. So I really like this trade. Price pushes on lower here, makes a new low. So the downtrend is considered played out at this point. Downtrend, break, new low, just past this low right there, and then price starts reversing on higher. And so clearly, there is some kind of bullishness going on, because as soon as this downtrend plays out, price is immediately pushing back above the EMA. It does struggle to get above here. Like, as you can see, it pushes back below with a pretty good bearish bar, and then it's, we push right back above, but it's still going choppy sideways, and it just takes a few bars to really start going off. So we go into this uptrend right here. Now, since the downtrend played out, if you get a clear reversal pattern, you can absolutely look to take a long as long as you have room to the overnight high. But as you can see, it just gives you this very choppy higher low that did not hold off of much support very well. It got above the EMA, but that's about it. It's not, given how choppy it is, I don't care that it's off the EMA. That's not enough. And so we push on higher here. We reach the overnight high and then break out a little bit. Price quickly fades back down and just launches us into this downtrend right here, straight to the other side of the trend, or to the other side of the range. And then as we reach it, this is a good place to get a failed second entry. As you can see, I have this large one drawn out before price had broken here. This is what I had wanted to see. It's because price started pushing lower here, breaking this trend. And, if it had just continued, we could have gotten a very big picture failed second entry. As you can see, that does not happen, but as soon as it has the break, it pushes up to a new high. So this uptrend is technically played out because it has a break and a push to a new high, and then it's reversing at the overnight high. But obviously, you can tell on a bigger picture, this is all one leg. It's just one spike up. And so, we can get a bigger break, get a couple attempts at a new high, and not that I'd want to necessarily get along on the new high. I'd want to see a push up, a couple legs back. Let me just move this stuff around. That way, we can look to get a couple attempts at a new high and get in on the failure and take a short. So uptrend, break, 2 attempts at a new high, and then look to get in on the failure. So I'd like to see something like that happen soon. That's going to do it for this video. Hope it helped out in some way. It was just a range day to day, just up and down, up and down. So yeah, that's going to do it, and I hope it helped out, and I'll see y'all next time.